Hi BookTube. My little precarious position because I have all my Christmas shopping like around me. I can't put it anywhere besides here right now, so there's not as much dynamics with me moving because I'm restricted. Anyways, I'm here with another currently reading, and yes, it's going to feature these two books again, but it's going to feature more than that. So I plan on trying to finish these. Oh god, today's Saturday. Okay. I don't think that's going to happen today. I don't know what day of the week it is anymore. I was going to say by the end of the week, but it's already the end of the week. But I plan on finishing these guys really soon. Educated. I think I have like... Oh, I guess they're still... It's very deceptive. That does not look like 90 pages, but... Yeah, 90 pages left in that. But it reads... The words read really fast. Really easy. But the content is not easy. There's a nice contradiction there. Of, like, there's a lot of abuse, physical abuse, neglect, physical abuse that's the result of neglect. It's really interesting. And how she was able to turn that around and to go to school, but still have those ties. So, like, I've seen it in a lot of people talking about, like, oh, you're educated, you shouldn't believe in this stuff. But, like, I know a lot of educated people who believe in stuff that you wouldn't think that educated people believe in. I'm trying to be very, not calling anyone out, but, you know. I think you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. So she's still at that point, too, where she is in university. She's doing really well in university. And really well in kind of exploring herself as well in regards to education and expanding her worldview and stuff. But she also has that tie to her home and her family and their way of life that has been proven erroneous. There's a place for what they believe, but it's also in addition. So, for example, instead of trying to be vague, I don't know if there's really spoilers. It's a memoir, and there's lots more to the story than this. But her mom is, I guess what you call an herbalist. She puts together herbs to try and cure people. And, like, that helps, like, for sure. Like, but in addition to modern medicine. And they're very anti-modern medicine. So it's just, like, you can still have those different parts of you, but if they work together in conjunction, it's better than just one or the other. And Catalyst Killing, it is kind of redeeming itself. There's a hint about the whole, I had a problem last week with the Nazis being portrayed in a good light in this book, and I'm just going to take off my sweater because it's warmer than I thought. So the Nazis, they have been lied, and we should know, I should know by now as a reader that K2, the detective in this, is not a very good reader of people, which is not a very good trait for a detective to have, right? But thankfully he has I also hesitate to call her an assistant, because, like, he would not be able to solve the crimes without her. She's like his Sherlock Holmes. And he's just kind of like doing the legwork and bringing the information to her. And she's kind of pitting everything together. One little annoying thing though, and I don't know if that's something Norwegian or not, is that he constantly refers to people by, like, their full name. And when I say full name, I don't just mean like first and last, but like first, middle, last name. And it's just kind of like, yeah, but we've already introduced this character. Why are you saying their full name again? And there's not like multiple characters with the same name either. So yeah, that's interesting. Does he do it on this page? No. But yeah, like, one of the characters is named Falco Reinhardt. And, like, there's another character named Falco. There are other characters named Reinhardt, like his parents, but, like, why can't you just say Falco? Like, that's the only slightly irritating thing I find with this, but it's not that bad. The story's still interesting enough. And I hope to finish those as soon as possible. Along with this, there's a new book. I've gone back to reading multiple books at once just because that's what I wanted to do. So this is A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. my hold finally came in. I put this on hold in October. And I didn't take it off, even though I meant to read this in November. When it came in, I was just like, yeah, it's a short little book. I'll read it. I'm already 50 pages in. And it's really, like, sweet and saccharine. But I feel like we're still only getting, like, a surface level of the monk. So the beginning of the story is that they are a garden monk. So, like, they're in a traditional kind of, well, traditional in this world monastery, and they garden. And they decide that they want to go out and be a tea monk, which means that they're carrying, or not carrying, they're pulling along this wagon on a special bike thing. And they're go around to different villages and listen to people's problems and give them tea. Sorry for that. And then they've at this point decided that that's probably not what they want in life. So they're gonna go try something else. It's about, I think it's about self-discovery so far. So I hope we get a lot more in depth of, I believe the monk's name is Dex. Yes, because Ronan Dex from Stargate Atlantis is one of my favorite characters. So that's how I remember that name. Yeah, and I just got to the point where they met the robot, like literally. The robot walked right up to them. So that'll be interesting. I did finish some comics. I've been finishing things. I finished Meadowlark by Greg Ruth and Ethan Hawke, and nah, that's all I can say. It was interesting. I expected a lot more. I don't know. I really like crime novels. The art is really cool. Even though I do have to say that there are parts, I don't know why, where it felt like the words were literally coming out of another character's mouth, but it was in front of this other character, and it was just kind of confusing because it was like, that's not something he would say. That'd be something else. And you tell that, like, this character is inspired by Ethan Hawke. Yeah, it's about a father who's a warden at a jail cell. Oh, sorry, that picture was gross. He's a warden at a jail cell, and his son comes to work with him, and things happen. Yeah, it was okay. That's all I have to say about it. I do have a table in front of me this time, so I'm kind of prepared, but it's just a little table, like a folding table thing, so it's not very big. This book I can't show you the front of because it's not full on nudity, but it is an implied scene that's not safe to show, I think. So this is Goodbye by Yoshihiro Tatsumi. This, I believe, is the last volume, go look that up, of his manga that was published by Drawn and Quarterly, which is I believe they're Canadian. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but I think they're Canadian. And he was a manga artist in like the late 60s, early 70s. And he talks a lot about, I was going to try and find a scene where I can show you what's going on. But there's a lot of nudity in here. He talks a lot about, there's some samples of his art. He talks a lot about like the blue collar and like lower class of Japan. That first story though is really interesting. It's called Hell, and it is about this photographer who goes to Hiroshima after the bomb, and he takes this picture. You can see right there. It looks like a son giving his mother a massage as the bomb goes off, because you know the bomb flash created images against walls of people and objects and stuff. So he takes this image and then he sells it years later, and it gets involved in this big campaign in Japan about no Hiroshima, no more nuclear weapons. And they're going to build this big sculpture of this scene of the son massaging his elderly mother's shoulders. And then the son comes forward and he's just like, well, let me tell you the real story. He was trying to, he hired his friend to kill his mother. So like it creates this whole kind of dynamic, interesting, like nuanced conversation about what we use as symbolism. So it was really good. Yeah, and some of the other ones, most of them were about like men retiring and feeling impotent in life and not knowing what to do with their life. It's a lot of the themes in that one. Okay, so I plan starting tomorrow. I forgot today was Saturday. I was like, by the end of the week, I'll finish these books, and it's already Saturday. I'm planning this week to do a big push of reading books that I want to finish. So I have 3 books here. This is what I have left to read in Bone Hunters. But I'm going to try my best. I'm going to get through as much as I can, because I don't want this on my TBR in January. I want to get this finished so I can start the next in the series. Bone Hunters is part of the Malazan Book of the Fallen. I believe this is book 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, this is book 6. And I'll be going on to book 7 in January. And it's taken me all year to read. I think I started in January. And I haven't picked it up since like March. Yeah, and I love Malazan, but my problem is that it's so well written. I want to pay attention to it, and I'm finding that a lot with different things, like I'm not watching movies or TV shows because I really want to pay attention to them, and I feel like I can't devote attention to them right now because I've just got so much other stuff going on. So yeah, I need to concentrate and work on getting these 3 books as finished as I can. I may even put off those 3 that I'm working on. Putting those off until after Christmas, because that's next Christmas Eve is on next Sunday. So yeah. And then I was reading this with my brother, and he finished in October, and here we are in December, and I'm only halfway through. So yeah, I want to finish The Only Good Indians. I didn't tell you what this is about. I've talked about Malazan a lot. This is like an epic war fantasy. We follow a lot of different military and political groups. And the book before this, Midnight Tides, jumped. Is that the one that jumped back in time? One of them jumped back in time. I believe that was the last one, Midnight Tides. And this one has like gone back to, I hesitate to call it present time because it's fantasy, so it's not like, you know, 2023. Is that the year we're in? I don't know anymore. I lost track of days and times and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so like the present, it goes back to the timeline of the first book. That's how we'll say it. When we get some of the, not the first book, because the first book continued. It's confusing. Anyway, it's not as confusing as I make it sound. But we're back on the normal timeline. Gotta put that down and stop talking about it. And this one is a horror novel about, I believe they were kids, and they killed a pregnant elk on a hunting trip, and it's coming back to haunt them, I believe like 10 years later or so. Yeah, it is gruesome, and I found myself going, oh, a lot of stuff. That was my reaction. I was like, oh, is that actually happening on this book? On the page. Yeah. And then the other book I want to finish, I'm at 395 of 722. So like, that's like 300 and some odd pages. That's a normal book length, right? So I should be able to do that. This is one of my all-time favorite books. And it's just another case of I want to pay attention to it. I put this one down because I just had other projects that I wanted to read. But yeah, I wanted to devote attention to this again. So this is about a boarding house, and we follow boarding school. Yeah, boarding school. But it's also kind of like kids stay there like year round, because some of them, the parents don't want them. Some of them can't leave. Dun, dun, dun. And we follow a bunch of teenage boys that all have, all the residents and students have physical disabilities of some sort. So like one of our main characters is in a wheelchair. Then there's There's characters who don't have arms, characters who have seizures, characters who are blind. So that kind of like idea. And it's somewhat set in reality. More uncanny, I think, is a good word to describe the Grey House. Uncanny. And why not? I want to read some of these comics too. We have the Collected Tulpi. I love his art. I've read like 3 of his other works already. So there's like an example of his art. He's really like intricate, detailed. You can see like even on the shading there's like little details. And so this one is all stories from South America. They're all divided into different continents. Don't ask me which ones I've read. Couldn't list them off the top of my head. Then I have Strangers in Paradise by Terry Moore. This is just a classic. I do own an e-copy of this, but I would like to read this. Oh god, why do I have such weird, like, violently graphic interests in things? I don't know. Oh god, okay. I'm trying to find a page that I can show you. Okay. There's some art without any graphic violence or nudity in it. Yeah, this is, it's a love triangle of some sort, but it's more than that. It's not just a romance. Then I got the second volume of Rand Mahaf about this person right here. They present as male until they get wet, and then they turn into female. And then they have to get wet again in order to turn back into a male, and it's like a martial arts comedy. And it's not like played up like, at least I didn't feel, I'm not trans, so I can't speak like specifically, but I don't get any icky feelings from it. And then I still have Dharma Punks to go. And this, okay, see there, I just picked it up because of the cover. I don't know exactly what it's about, but I read through comics really fast. I enjoy them quite a bit. So that is it for this currently reading. Let me know what you're currently reading, and thank you for watching.